What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today on this fine Monday? You guys are probably seeing this on Monday afternoon. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today, we are reacting to a Bleacher Report article that is NBA trade ideas to save lottery teams from another playoff whiff. This is written by Greg Sports of Bleacher Report. Link to the article will be in the description below, so I'm guessing we're going through 14 trade ideas today to see how these non-playoff teams can make the playoffs next season. I guess by the cover photo of this article, maybe the Cavs are trading for CJ McCollum, possibly. We'll see about that. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed these videos, drop a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and we'll get into this right now, and I'll say if I agree if these trades make sense, if I think they can happen, and should these teams pull the trigger on it. So the first one we have is the Charlotte Hornets trading for KP. Yeah, so the Hornets trade for KP. The Mavericks get PJ Washington and a lottery protected 2022 first. So I like this trade for Charlotte. I think they should 100% do this trade. I don't know if they'll have the salary cap to pull this off due to the Gordon Hayward contract. Well, Rozier they're paying a lot of money to, but I guess with Biyombo and Zeller's contracts up and Batum is gone now and his buyout is done, I believe they should be good to make this trade go through. And if they can, I would do this trade if I were Charlotte 100%. I would think about this trade if I were Dallas to get off the KP contract and get two nice young assets. If you can bring in good players to, like, in exchange for that cap space, right? So you're going to have to pay Luke at the end of this offseason $40 million a year. So that goes one max slot out the window. So if you make this trade, you got pretty much a max and a half open in the offseason to go out and sign some guys. It's not the greatest free agency class. I mean, could Dallas go out and try to make a pitch to Kawhi? Could try to make a pitch to DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Andre Drummond? I don't really know who they can get to better this team because they don't want another playoff exit next year in round one. So I think like Charlotte should definitely do this trade. They can roll KP at the 4/5. And if I were Dallas, I would be hesitant to do this trade unless I know I can go out and sign two other guys in the offseason. Maybe if you're just like, we got to get somebody on this team before we pay Luka Doncic. I'm sure Boston would love to get off Kemba's contract. I don't know. I'm really just on like cheap ideas there. I don't know. Like, Dallas, I don't think they would do this trade just because it's not the greatest free agency class. But, hey, you can go out, you could sign a DeMar DeRozan, and then you go out and you sign a bunch of role players. Maybe you give a lot of money to Duncan Robinson. You got to bring back Jalen Brunson. Maybe you give a lot of money to Rashawn Holmes and just guys like that to fill out your roster, and you let, like, DeRozan and Luka do the thing. I don't know, do their thing. Or maybe you go after Lonzo, or you go after John Collins, possibly. Hey, could do that. Chicago Bulls, they are traded for Kemba Walker. I hate that. I mean, I think this could help them get to the playoffs. You got Kemba, Levine, and Vucevic as your big three. You should finally get back to the playoffs for the first time since, what, like 2016? 2016. No, 2017. So I do like this trade for them in the immediate term, but for the long term, Kemba's going to, I think, regress. He's got, 3 years on his contract. Next year, 2022, 3 and 4. That's a lot. I mean, you're giving up on Kobe White. If you think that Kobe White will never amount to what you want him to be next to Zach LaVine, then sure, you do this trade. Because it's got, like, definitely, you're going to have a wins above replacement adjustment next year. Like, you're going to win more games in the short term next year, 100%, because Kemba is a lot better of a player than Kobe White at the moment. But that much better to maybe, okay, so there are 3 max slots on the team. We got Kemba, Vucevic, and LaVine. We're going to have to fill out this roster with possibly Markkanen. We're going to maybe have to overpay for him. We're going to have Patrick Will, Thad Young. I mean, it's not that bad. It really isn't. And they have to get lucky in this draft to get their first round pick. They have at least have their first round pick next year. I would think about this if I were Chicago if you are desperate to get into the playoffs. And I mean desperate. Next up, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, I honestly think that you could maybe include, like, Archie Nakano. I'm just trying to think, like, Archie Nakano. Well, they gave up on Mo Wagner. I'm trying to think, like, Archie Nakano. Who's the other guy? Troy Brown, second round picks. Like, Boston could be... No, because they would get a lot worse. Like, I was thinking maybe Boston just wants to get off the contract, but probably not. Next up, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they are acquiring CJ McCollum and Derrick Jones Jr. in exchange for Sexton and Love. No. You really think McCollum, Allen, Osman, I guess their first round pick, and Derrick Jones Jr., Larry Nance get you to the playoffs next year in the East? I'm sorry to inform you, but that is not a playoff team in the Eastern Conference, 100%. I don't think CJ McCollum can lead them. as the number 1 to the promised land. Hey, maybe they win the lottery and they added Cade Cunningham, possibly. I like this trade for Portland if they're trading Damian Lillard, but if they are not trading Damian Lillard, then I disagree with this trade heavily. So I don't like this trade for Portland, and I don't like this trade for Cleveland. Mark that up as one that you threw it at the wall and it did not stick. Next trade we got is the Detroit Pistons going after somebody they could have went out and signed last year. Fred VanVleet for Killian Hayes and Mason Plumlee. I kind of hate this trade for the Detroit Pistons. I don't really think Fred VanVleet guarantees you a playoff spot next year. Can VanVleet and Gritton? No, I don't think that guarantees you a spot unless you're adding a Mobley or Cunningham and you overpay for like a DeRozan to reunite him with Dwayne Casey. I don't know. Maybe if you have VanVleet and DeRozan and Mobley and Grant, that gets you to the playoffs. Or you go out and sign Lonzo, or you go out and sign Rashawn Holmes. Maybe you sneak in as the 8 seed. Is it worth it? Hell no. Hell no. Keep Killian Hayes, develop the team. I don't like that trade. I know they have to come up with something that's realistic, so I get the creativity and like who else can Killian Hayes really get you. I just don't like that trade for Detroit. For Toronto, next up we have the Golden State Warriors getting Jonas Valanciunas for James Wiseman and Andrew Wiggins. Okay, Valanciunas, Andrew. I mean, they desperately need a big. They're going to have the 14th pick in this draft. They might get 4 or 5. So, yeah, technically, Valanciunas is a massive upgrade over James Wiseman if we're going off their 2021 play. But I don't think that they should give up on Wiseman just like that. Curry is, I mean, he does have limited number or limited years. Same with Clay. Same with Draymond. So, this is more of a win-now move, and I think that they should consider that. But I would still set you up to be respectable in 2024 when you don't have your first-round pick from the Iggy trade, which is only 2 more or 3 more seasons from now. Curry and Clay should still be okay. If you lose the 14th pick or 13th pick, it's all right. But if you're bad then, and you're losing the 5th overall pick to Memphis, that hurts. It might be lottery protected, I forget. But I don't... You're giving up Wiggins, too. I mean, Anderson and Wiggins, I guess, are similar, but I think I prefer Wiggins, even though he's making a lot more money. I think Winslow's a lost cause at this point. So... I mean, for the short term, yeah. For the long term, no. If you can maybe do a sign and trade with Oubre and get to keep Wiggins, yeah, do that. But if you have to give up Wiggins, I don't like that trade for them. Next up, we have the Houston Rockets, them getting Karl-Anthony Towns. Minnesota getting Christian Wood, Augustine, and 3 first-round picks. Does that really get them in the playoffs next year? Gordon, Tate, Wall, and Cat, they might get their first-round pick this year. They might not. I guess those are all late first-round picks and then their first-round pick. Maybe that gets you into the playoffs in the West. I don't know. I don't really think it does. I like the idea, but I don't think... Unless you had another young stud to build off of, and that's kind of Christian Wood, you put it the 4. I mean, maybe you do well in the lottery and you have a Cat Cade Cunningham or a Cat Evan Mobley frontcourt going forward. I'm just not a huge fan of this trade for... Houston giving up all that just to maybe be the 8th seed. But when has Cat shown that he could be the number 1 on a good team? He hasn't yet. And then for Minnesota, I don't know. I don't know if I like this trade if I was Minnesota. I mean, you're getting 3 assets and a good young player. But Wood's like 26. I prefer a different young player. Indiana, we got Tristan Thompson and Carson Edwards. Yeah, I thought I said that wrong. Boston getting Jeremy Lamb and Goga Bitadze. So just by adding Tristan Thompson and Edwards, you think you can get into the playoffs? I mean, you're adding a big body. Sure. Now, I mean, yeah, because they definitely need backup bigs because they've been rolling, what, Goga Bitadze, Jakarta. It's been bad. I mean, Brissett is probably not much of a 4 as we saw him play towards the end of the year, and I'm not a huge fan. I mean, Thompson is definitely better than Goga Bitadze, but I think you can get somebody better, maybe for cheaper. You could probably give up a 2nd-round pick for like Hassan Whiteside, who I don't think is very good anymore, but it's still at least an upgrade over Goga Bitadze, Bitadze, and you don't have to really give up Bitadze, who was your 1st-round pick in just 2019. Next up, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm getting Pascal Siakam for D'Lo, Culver, Jaden McDaniels. I love that trade for Minnesota. Yeah, I would do that any day of the week because I mean, they're probably not going to get their pick this year, but you could find point guards in the NBA, and then you have Edwards, Siakam, or you have Beasley, Edwards, Siakam, Cat. That's a great 2 through 4, and you could find a point guard to fill in that number 1 role. If it's Rubio again, maybe it's Leandro Bolmaro. I believe they have Bolmaro, not OKC. Maybe it's him. I don't know, but you could find guys out there that can perform. You've seen Fred VanVleet. You've seen Campaign. You've seen even Alex Caruso, point guards that really you didn't expect to be that good in this league, ball out for your team and can slide in as a starting number 1 option, or even Monte Morris or Campazzo. There's a bunch of guys out there that can get at the 1. So I love this trade for Toronto. or excuse me, Minnesota. I hate this trade for Toronto. I'm giving up on Culver. McDaniels has shown some flashes. I do like him, but you're going to have D'Lo, Van Vliet. Who knows if you bring back Lowry. You got Malachi Flynn and Anunoby. I think you got to keep Siakam. Having somebody that could stretch the floor at the 4 is way too valuable for D'Angelo Russell to me. Pelicans, I'm getting Miles Turner. I mean, I've loved this for so long now. So they're getting Turner, Warren, I guess, in a sign and trade, Jeremy Lamb. They're giving up Steven Adams, Bledsoe, and 1 and 2 first-round picks. I think if you're making the Pacers take on those 2 bad contracts, you're going to have to give up 3 first-round picks. And you have another Lakers pick, so you maybe give up that. And I don't think really Indiana would sell Ada or Turner and Warren short for a late first-round pick next year because the Lakers are going to be good. In 2025, with Giannis signing the Supermax, the Bucks are probably going to be good, and Holiday and Middleton being there, and 2 vets like Adams, Bledsoe. Yeah, you're going to have to throw in at least another first-round pick and maybe a young player. Like, maybe they want Jackson Hayes to keep the Lakers pick. You give me one of your picks or Lakers pick down the line and give us Jackson Hayes. I would definitely do that if I were the Pelicans. I mean, that would be phenomenal if I were the Pelicans, but I would hate this trade if I were the Pacers. OKC, them getting Bradley Beal, giving up Teo Maledon, Poku, 1, 2, and or just 2 first-round picks, but possibly a pick this year. That doesn't get you Bradley Beal. I'm sorry, it just is. I mean, he will be an expiring. You're giving them 2 young players and possibly a 4th or 5th overall pick this draft. Maybe if it's at 4 and you're like, okay, you're getting a Green or a Suggs and you're very high on one of them, but I don't like. See, like, these trades are so good for the non-playoff teams, but for the playoff teams, these are kind of horrible for some of them. Orlando getting Russ, Wizards getting Markelle Fultz and Harris. I'm pretty sure the Wizards would think about that. If they're starting the rebuild, and they would love Fultz. And the Magic with Russ, he would probably make them contend. Maybe to like the 8th or like to the 10th seed to get in the play-in tournament. I guess that's all you need. So maybe you do that trade, but if I'm Orlando, I wouldn't even bother. But I don't even know if that would get you in the playoffs. Probably not. I mean, Isaac's coming back, so you never know. Sacramento Kings, they are getting Ivica Zubac and Luke Kennard for Buddy Hield in the 2nd. I mean, I don't think Buddy Hield is really a great player, and I think they did overpay for him, and maybe the Clippers would love that. I mean, Zubac, he's been up and down with the Clippers this year, but I think they don't want to give up another big body because they lost Harrell. I mean, with Ibaka getting older, I think they like Zubac. I'm sure they would love to give up Kennard. Maybe you do a Kennard for Hield swap. Maybe. Next up, we have the San Antonio Spurs going all in on... okay, so they're getting Sabonis and Brogdon, but they're giving up their best young player, their 2 best young players. This is stupid. I mean, okay, I guess it's to get them in the playoffs. Sure. Maybe this helps them get in the playoffs because Brogdon and Sabonis are very good. You're losing Johnson and Murray and Derek White. Oh. I mean, I would like this trade maybe if I was the Pacers. This is a nice start to the rebuild because you can have Murray, LeVert, Keldon Johnson, and still have Miles Turner. I kind of like that. And you're getting their first-round pick this year at, what is that, 13, 12, 11 maybe, or 10. That I like. And you're getting Šamanić, Murray. I like this trade a lot for the Pacers. I think this is a nice reset. But for the Spurs... Who are you? I mean, you're signing maybe DeRozan back, and then you got Brogdon, Lonnie Walker, DeRozan, somebody, and then Pirtle, maybe. Because you're giving up your first-round pick too, and then finally the Raptors. I'm getting Brandon Ingram and Steven Adams for OG Anunoby, Boucher, and 2 first-round picks. I think I love this trade. I would love to see Ingram and Siakam together and Van Vliet. I think that would be great. I was very high on Anunoby. He was in like my most improved candidate list this year. I ended up going with Jamal Murray, so I was wrong on that. But I like this trade for Toronto a little bit. I mean, they are giving up a lot. Does this make... I like Steven Adams for them. I kind of like this trade for both teams, actually. I do. So yeah, that is going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you did. Like I said, I'll leave a link to the article down below. Let me know what was your favorite trade. If I had to say one I like the most, it might be... Oh, jeez. It might be this one with Kristaps going to the Hornets. I didn't really like a lot of these trades, if we're being honest with you. I wasn't a fan. I guess my favorite trade might be this one. Maybe a Hield for Kennard swap. This one gets interesting, but I don't really like this that much for the Spurs, but it's all right. And for this trade is okay as well. It's okay. So yeah, let me know what you agree down below. You can also let me know the worst trade here. So yeah, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I love you guys. You guys should be seeing another tier list tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. I don't know. But yeah, I love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.